Hi, welcome back. This is part two of a two-part series about New Hampshire and campaign finance reform from 2016. Like I said, New Hampshire, you're due a VA hospital for one, unless we get the choice program in there. I don't think you really need a VA hospital. I think the choice program would work, but we readdress that again when I come to New Hampshire if I get invited or if I come home. Let's go back to campaign finance reform before I touch on the PFOAs, the PFOS in the water. That's been in the water for quite some time now. Secretary Clinton in 2016 spent a reported $200 million in New Hampshire for second place. By the way, I was third place after Governor O'Malley quit in Manchester. I didn't spend any money. I didn't tell really anyone that I was on the ballot because I didn't have security. That was the agreement that I made with my family. Didn't do any public speaking events, didn't raise any money. I came in third place in New Hampshire. And like I said, I wasn't even invited to stand on the stage except at St. Anselm's College. Because if you don't show up with money for the Democrat side, everyone's focused on money. And unless you raise $6 million in 3 weeks or whatever, you're not considered good for the presidency. You're not considered smart enough. You're not considered popular enough to win. I disagree with that. If we keep going after people with money, Seneca was famous for saying that fidelity purchased is fidelity that can be sold. We need to keep that in mind, folks, when we go on. So Secretary Clinton reportedly spent $200 million in New Hampshire in 2016 for bumper stickers, ice cream cones, and some signs, and a couple parties. Bernie Sanders spent $230 million in New Hampshire for the primary election only, and he came in first place. So let's see what Bernie Sanders could have done. He's such a socialist. Manchester Community College tuition is about $4,424 a year. Okay? Manchester has a student population of 6,321 at the community college. That total tuition for all of those students is $27,964,104 estimated. National Community College has a tuition of $6,096 a year, with a student population of 2,242 students. Their total tuition with their students is $13,667,232. NHTI tuition is $7,424 a year. NHTI, the Concord, New Hampshire Community College, has a population of 4,556 students. Their total tuition is $33,823,744. So $33,823,744. If Bernie Sanders paid for all of those tuitions combined, he would have still had over $154 million, folks, to run for the primary election. Does anyone else see a problem with this, or is it just me? Does anyone else see the waste of money? 15 candidates, folks. I don't even need these slides. 15 candidates spent a reported $800 million in New Hampshire. New Hampshire has a population of 5.5 million people in the entire state. That's nearly $1,000 per person in the state of New Hampshire. A state with no VA hospital, and a state that's number one in the nation for opioid synthetic suicide. The federal government only gave New Hampshire less than $50 million to deal with the opioid epidemic for a 2-year time frame. 2-year time frame, they gave less than $50 million to deal with opioid epidemic. But the candidates spent $800 million reportedly. I'm going to say reportedly because you know that money wasn't really spent there. You would have seen it come into that state like crazy. But you know what they do with that money? They pay off local politicians. They pay off local cops to harass the other candidates. They do things that are screwed up. You know where I was on primary election day? I was sitting in a jail cell in Nashua. Because Kelly Ayott's U.S. Marshal, the retired U.S. Marshal Steve, that worked at Kelly Ayott's office, paid a local meter maid, or I should say parking attendant, or parking policeman, or whatever, in Manchester, to put a ticket on my car, but never put it on my car, as a 100% service-connected disabled vet. First they said I had a meter violation. I said, well, that's kind of funny because I have disabled vet plates on my car. Then they said, no, it wasn't a meter violation. It was because you didn't have your residency sticker on your car. It's kind of hard to believe because the car was ticketed right in front of my home. Right, not even a block away from City Hall or Kelly Ayott's office. And she knew she was being dismissed because she caused a big upset in my life. And so did Jean Shaheen, by the way. And she's not off the hook yet either. The only reason Maggie Hassan is in office is because I have no one else to choose from. Maggie Hassan caused the opioid epidemic in New Hampshire by negligence because she didn't do anything as a governor through public health. People were finding needles in public parks. My dad's nurse took her baby to the park one day, and the kid went down the slide, and there was a used syringe sticking out of the diaper when the baby came down the slide. That's unacceptable, people. Unacceptable. And it's the leadership that did it. National Police, they're not wearing body cameras, because if they were, you would have seen when they put me in handcuffs, they were yelling, go Trump, you're not going to do an H. Ross Perot on us, Mr. Thistle. You know, the funny thing was, too, it was okay that they arrested me and put me in jail over a $35 parking ticket that was unpaid. I was okay with that to a point, but when I got out of the jail cell and I went to get my car and my medications and stuff, the tow truck company would not let me recover my personal property. Even if I paid them for the tow, I couldn't get my personal property. And I wasn't going to get my vehicle back because my vehicle was scheduled for repossession. It was okay because I was going to trade that vehicle in anyway because I wasn't really supposed to drive it. Ironically, the vehicle wasn't for me. The vehicle was for a raffle. That raffle was going to pay for some camps, some tiny homes for veterans, so that those veterans could dry out off the opioids. Because right now, if you go to the VA and you're prescribed opioid medication, but you want to come off of them, you can't go inpatient at the VA. And where could you go inpatient anyway in New Hampshire when they don't have a VA hospital? I'll talk to you again later.